Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Pucking Around Podcast. We've got a very good episode for you tonight. We're going to finally going to finish up our divisional talk with the Atlantic Division. It is the top four teams in order of how they finished last season. Ottawa, Florida, Tampa, and Toronto with Florida. There's going to be a lot to talk about with Florida this week. We are also going to talk about a few other things that we all have something that we want to talk about, and we're going to get to that. I don't really know what they want to talk about. They don't really know what I want to talk about. So we're going to get to that later. To do that, I've got my two co-hosts from the Gonna Flyer Up podcast. We got Eric and Alex over there.
All right, boys. Check out Flyer Gonna Flyer episode 53 that was just released on Sunday. Just released Flyer Gonna Flyer episode 53.
Oh yeah, episode 51 or 52 was Jim
Jackson was on 51.
51?
51.
Yeah, check that out. Jim Jackson, the Flyers play-by-play guy. We had him on for about an hour and 20 minutes.
Almost an hour and a half. It'll be on our live section on our YouTube channel. So give it a shout out there. It was awesome.
Was very good.
Great. And we hope to have him again at some point this year.
He was very open and it was a really good interview. We had a lot of fun with that. All right, so we're going to talk about the Atlantic Division. We're going to start off with Ottawa, and to start us off with Ottawa, it's going to be Eric leading us off.
Yeah, the Ottawa Senators. I have no problem leading off because Ottawa, to me, as I don't know, some of you might know, I'm a Canadian, but I'm also a Flyers fan. But my Canadian team has always been the Ottawa Senators, so yeah, I want to talk about.
I used to like him, but now I like him a little less.
Anything but the Canadians, Rick. Anything but the Canadians.
That's okay. I get
it. No, the Senators. Look, they finished fourth last year in the division. Honestly, I expect them to actually improve this year. They have. They have good young centers. They got Tim Stützle, who's just getting better and better every year. Could he maybe hit 100 points this season? Who knows? I don't think it's out of the question. They're going to get a full year of Dylan Cousins.
Will he dive 100 times?
Sorry?
He could also dive 100 times.
He could, and then get 100 penalties. Who knows? But we'll see.
No.
But look, then you have Dylan Cousins, who's going to have a full season under his belt with the Senators. Because he arrived late in the season, towards the deadline, and he put up some actually decent numbers when he was when he arrived to Ottawa. Because Cousins when the last couple of years in Buffalo, his numbers started to decline a little bit and looked like, oh man, is that contract gonna be a problem? But look, he ended up with he had 16 points in 21 games to finish the season with Ottawa. Those are some pretty good numbers, especially if he's gonna be your 2C. Then you still got Shane Pinto there as your 3C. I think they're really stacked down the middle. And then you have the ageless wonder, my boy, my captain, Claude Giroux. So how can I pick against my captain? How? It's impossible. So no, look, in all honesty, I think they have a really good team. They got a lot of good young players. Jake Sanderson is just getting better and better every year. He hit the 50-point mark last year. Shabbat still brings that offense. Now it's better on a second pair. He could be sheltered because he's got his own defensive deficiencies. So, and look, the big question mark for me when it comes to Ottawa is going to be Linus Ullmark. He struggled to start the season last year, and that hurt Ottawa a little bit, but then he picked it up towards the end of the season and really solidified himself as a number one goalie again. So I think that's going to be the biggest question mark for Ottawa is, are they going to get that consistent goaltending that they need to be a top team in the division? And me personally, I think I've always liked Ullmark. I think he can do it. So I think, honestly, guys, I think Ottawa is going to battle for the top spot in the division this year. I think they finish either 1 or 2. I'm telling you.
I don't disagree with that. I'll tell you the truth. Now, you guys laughed who was laughing at me when I had Montreal in second?
Him and a little bit me too.
I had Ottawa tied with Montreal, but we had one win more, and that's why we were ahead of them. So with what's going to happen with Florida, I've made a new prediction, and I still have Montreal and Ottawa fighting for first.
All right, so here's where I am with Ottawa. The Florida news definitely impacts my decision a little bit. We'll get into Florida.
Wasn't really done.
What's up?
I wasn't really done, but go ahead. It's okay.
Oh, no, finish.
Okay, go ahead. No, you started. Go ahead. It's fine.
Well, here's my thing with Ottawa. They're great down the middle for sure. Tim Stützle is one of the better younger centers in the NHL. He hasn't even hit his prime yet. I do think,
Okay.
Dylan Cousins, I think from an actual talent perspective, is a slight downgrade from Josh Norris. However, Norris, as we all know, can never stay fucking healthy. This guy's always beat the hell up. So what's the old saying goes? The best ability is availability. So I think that could be something for sure that helps Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk, enough said, one of the better left wingers in the game. He's one of the Tkachuk brothers. He's fantastic. Always been an absolute workhorse, beast on the wing. But I look at the right wing. I love Claude Giroux. There is no one who is a bigger Claude Giroux supporter in my life. I still to this day believe that he was robbed of the 2017-18 Hart Trophy. He was the MVP that year. Maybe Taylor Hall will be the only other guy I listen to who actually won the award. But there is no fucking reason why Anze Kopitar should have got the 3 spot over Claude Giroux, bare minimum. But argument for another day. Claude Giroux, unfortunately, is not getting any younger. He's going into his age 30. Huh?
He's not?
No, he's not.
Oh.
I know, crazy thing. But going into his soon-to-be age 38 season, you saw a little bit of regression in his game. Still second-line production. He put up 50 points. Not a bad year. But you're starting to see the age wear in a little bit. Now, Claude Giroux's game has never been defined by his speed. It's by his hockey IQ and his fantastic playmaking ability. He always makes the right play at the right time. And does he make a mistake here and there? Yeah, sure. But Claude Giroux's game has always been he always makes smart decisions. He's got great hockey IQ, and he's been a fantastic passer his whole career. And this is why he's not retiring next year or probably even the year after. This guy's going to probably go into his early 40s, I think. However, we've seen the days of first-line Claude Giroux go past us. He's on hole 15 or 16 of his career. I think we do see him take another small step back. Next year, he could be barely pushing 40, maybe even high 30 points next year. Should still get some level of production. I hope he shuts me the fuck up. And I don't know how I feel about Zetterlund at the other right wing position. I think they do have some questions at the right wing spots. There is a reason why Ottawa and Giroux were kind of butting heads going into the offseason of what they wanted his next contract to be. And I also wonder about Ottawa's second goaltender spot. Linus Ullmark is great. He did prove that he can be a number one goalie for sure. Levi Malanian, I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Probably not. Marilainen. I think I got it right there. Marilainen?
I think so. If I'm not mistaken, that's how you pronounce it.
Sounds right.
Projected to be their backup. This will be his first year in the NHL. He's been more of an AHL goalie his whole career. He's projected to be their backup. It's interesting to see what they're going to get out of him. Probably going to have about 26, 27 games if he is the backup. Could be a little bit of a question mark there. The bottom 6 is solid. I think they have one of the better 3Cs in the league, like I said, in Shane Pinto, as long as he stays out of the gambling issues. Nick Cousins, former Stanley Cup champion, great fourth line.
Hate that guy. Hate that guy.
I know. He's a pest. He's a pest. Whether you like him or don't like him, he is a former Cup champion, so you have to give him his flowers in that retrospect.
He's dirty as fuck is what you. If that's what a pest is, dirty as fuck. Okay, then he's a pest.
He's dirty. I'm not saying he's clean, but he's
most pests are dirty.
You can say he's dirty, yeah. But the point being, Ottawa is a good team, especially down the middle and in the left wing spot. I do have questions on their right wing position. I do have questions a little bit in net. Will Ullmark be able to do it again? What are you going to get from the backup goaltender spot? Their bottom six is decent. Nick Cousins is a solid fourth liner. Shane Pinto's an excellent third liner. Ridley Greg is a good third line guy.
I love Greg.
I think Ottawa will be good, but I could also see them going down the New Jersey route and having a little bit of regression at the same time too. I personally, now with the Florida injury, I might be pushing more for fourth now, but because last week I had Montreal fourth, but that was before we knew about the Barkov stuff, which we'll talk about later. I kind of got them anywhere between third and fifth. I really don't know. I may have them fifth because I still think Florida is great. I still think, Tampa hasn't shown any signs of falling off. I do like where Montreal is compared to Ottawa as a collective whole. And then obviously Toronto is still Toronto. They have their high-end talent. So it's more or less the fact that division is loaded still versus them really taking a massive step back. I could see them maybe push for the second wild card still too, but we'll see. I think they're going to get in fifth. I can't see Florida falling off that much despite Barkov. Floor is yours, Rick.
Oh, that was a sudden. It just ended. Boom! It was like, oh, okay. The floor was mine before that. Then you stole it from me. But okay, I'm not one to hold grudges. I'm not. I'm not. All right, Ottawa. I don't like Ottawa. Let's just say I don't like their captain. I don't like their captain. I think he wants to go home, so he should go home. I believe he should go home. I don't like Stutzla at all. He is talented. I get all that, but I wouldn't have him on my team. Now, does that mean that they're not going to be a good team? No, they'll probably still be a good team. They were just ahead of us last year, right?
They were the first wild card, correct?
Yeah, they were just ahead of us by like 6 points. I think, as I said before I was interrupted, I think Montreal and Ottawa, wherever they finish it, no matter where they finish it in the standings, will be battling with each other for that, to one up each other. I think it's going to be really close. Personally, I think Montreal will will win that battle, but I mean, obviously I have a bias there, so I admit that. What else? Their goaltending in Allmark I like. I don't know anything about this backup guy. Their defense is good. Their forward group is good. One thing I don't like about Ottawa, and it may be my bias, but they're a dirty team. I don't like the way they play. I don't like how dirty they play. I also don't like the fact that, man, they give us, as much as I have had, they give us fits during regular season. I hate that. So I got to have begrudging respect to a team that on any given night when we play them can beat our ass, and just as much as we can beat their ass, right? It's so that's why another reason why I say they're going to battle it out, when they play each other. It's like two teams that are very close to even. So which team is going to be better this year? I think is the team that's going to win the division, honestly, with the drop that I think in Florida, plus the predictions I've already made for where the teams are going to finish. Yeah. Now, just before we move on to maybe another team, here is how RDS has them finishing. They have from the bottom up Buffalo, Boston, Detroit. Now, we all think, I think all of us have those three teams in some way on the bottom there, right? Then they have Montreal still in fifth, which I don't nearly agree with. Florida dropping because they dropped Florida down into fourth. The Senators, the Leafs, and then the Lightning. There's no points or anything given there, but that's how they figure it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why does Slav look so scary in that picture? He looks like he's ready to murder someone.
He's Slovakian and he's hungry.
He looks like he's going to eat someone.
No pun intended. You can get it? He's Slovakian and he's hungry.
He just looks like he's staring.
Okay, that was a good one. For all you intelligent people watching, you'll get it and laugh at home.
Am I doing the bit right?
This is what he was looking at something intently, and the guy got a well-timed picture. No, I didn't.
He's giving the malok.
He's giving, yeah, whatever that's called there.
The evil eye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Am I doing it right?
Close, yeah.
No, he's a little bit more intimidating.
You know, he isn't scary. SOB. He's one of the few guys on your team. I don't think I'd want to piss off him or Jack.
He's rather large.
Yeah.
Rather large.
I just want to like give a little bit more on Ottawa because
okay, go more. You got last thoughts.
Yeah, on like what Alex was saying, but you forgot to mention Drake Batherson, though, also is a right wing.
That's true. It's a good name to miss.
He is dinged up right now, isn't he?
He's injured right now, but it's not expected to be anything long term.
And he's a talent. Yeah. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So like he's clearly he's only be on the top line. Well, so like he's
top six for sure. There's no doubt Batherson's top six.
I did forget that. That's a
first line.
Yeah. So that's why if you drop Giroux to the second line and then obviously Zetterlund either moves to the third or moves to the left wing, so it balances out their wings a little bit more. And look, Zetterlund, in my opinion, is actually going to be one of those like cogs that like, because you don't know what you're going to get. Because look, when he was with San Jose, he averaged about half a point a game. So, but the thing is, like, look, when you get traded somewhere, like, apparently, like, he was not expected to be traded. Like, it was a real shock. Even me, I remember when the trade happened, I was like, what the hell just happened? Why did San Jose trade this kid? And look, he struggled to gel with the team when he first got traded. So you gotta hope. For Ottawa, you gotta hope that it sticks now and like the kids can gel together. And if he could get back or improve on what he was in San Jose, all right, that's another upgrade on wing. And look, Levi Merilainen, he's actually not a bad goalie. Like I remember, because I picked him up in fantasy last year, like when homework went down. And look, I just popped up his numbers. Like in 12 games, again, small sample size. I understand that, but he's gonna be the backup. In 12 games last season, 1.99 goals against average and a 0.925 save percentage. Like those are pretty good numbers.
Pretty good number.
And also like you mentioned, Alex, I think Josh Norris is probably the better player over Dylan Cousins. But you know what? Dylan Cousins is most probably going to play at least 70 games, 70 to 75 games, which Ottawa could not depend on Josh Norris doing.
No.
So even if you take a little bit less talent, but at least you get him now again, accidents can happen, injuries happen all the time, but you play the odds, right? You got to play the odds. And also, what he adds over someone like Josh Norris is size. Because not that Josh Norris was a small guy, but Dylan Cousins brings more physicality to the position, which I think, and also, like, look, Ridley Gregg, I've always been a fan of Ridley Gregg. I wanted the Flyers to trade for this guy for
he's a good bottom sixer for sure.
Yeah.
Dirty piece of shit. Okay.
No, I don't know. I just really like the guy. So look, that's why I'm very high on Ottawa this year. Like, I think a lot of their younger kids a lot of their young kids are entering their prime ages. They're entering age 25, age 26, age 27.
They were sucked for so bad. They had all those good draft picks, and now these guys are coming of age and into their prime, and that's why Ottawa finally is getting to be a team that is worthy of the top 4 in the division.
Exactly. And my last point is, and again, I'm going to say this like all the time because I just think it was a stupid trade, but they stole Jordan Sprents from LA. And he adds like another offensive element to that back end. So hopefully, if he can find his game in Ottawa, I think this team is really going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ottawa and Montreal for the future, like in the next, say, 10 years or 7-8 years, Ottawa and Montreal are going to be in that top 4 perennially or annually, whatever you want to say, right? And, because they graduated from – Ottawa took a little longer to get the rebuild done, but it's starting to work now, right? It's starting to show that it's working. And, Montreal and then Buffalo should be up there. But they're never going to be.
Eventually,
You know? Maybe.
Yeah, one day. And then we'll get hit by that comet that's supposed to get us in 2032.
Yeah. And Detroit should be up there, you'd think.
no.
I'm saying they should be. And how long?
Scam.
And how long they've been rebuilding, you'd think they should. I'm just saying, right? So the two teams that did it right, one a little quicker than the other, but still, the two teams that did it right and now graduating out of that rebuild and into being very soon contenders, are Ottawa and Montreal. And you know what? It's not that bad in that, it's a good rivalry between Montreal and Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
I hate them. But that's what makes it a good rivalry. Why do I hate Ottawa? Because it's a good rivalry. And they play us. We have a tough time.
Oh, that's chippy. Yeah, that's definitely. I have seen Ottawa and Montreal fans at each other's necks on social media this offseason.
Oh, yeah, because Ottawa fans are idiots. You heard me. They go but they go right away to the insult. That's why I said it. They go right away when they lose the argument. They go right away. They insult you, or they just say something dirty, whatever. I don't want to say.
Watch.
And Dakota showed me a picture. They were doing a fan fest thing. So he showed me a picture outside the arena. There were some fans there. I said, "Oh, I didn't know Ottawa had that many fans."
I'd like to see you and Dakota start barbing one day.
Yeah, well, if it's Ottawa, he's Ottawa in Montreal. Yeah, we will. I'm sure.
All right. Let's move on to our next team. That would be the Florida Panthers, last year's Stanley Cup champions. I guess I'll lead off with Florida since I'm the one introducing them right now.
Recent injuries, top of this list here.
Yes.
Barkov, so I just wanted to show
that is massive. So it sounds like Barkov tore. They said the surgery to his ACL and MCL, so I'm guessing he tore his ACL and MCL during practice. Non-contact injury, those suck. They said 7 to 9 months. Usually an ACL, at least in football standards, is about 8 to 10, and that's being generous if there's no setbacks. So realistically, he's going to miss the time.
Wait, when you're saying that long, that's probably for a complete tear. Where these
was a complete tear.
Torn off. When you say it's torn,
yes,
no,
sir.
There's a difference. There's a tear and there's torn.
Yeah, he had a complete tear. It was ruptured.
So that's a torn.
Yes, there is a partial tear which can heal on its own with minor.
Which I have on both knees.
Yes, you can still play with that, although you're eventually going to need surgery.
Yeah,
but there's ways to at least make it heal on its own temporarily after like 6 to 8 weeks.
No, for some people it has been not just temporary. So people have come back from, but you're talking like a very partial tear.
ACL, when it's torn, tear,
when it's torn, when it's a complete tear,
9 to 10 months, maybe more.
Yeah, when it's a complete tear, and they have to reattach it. That's going to take a long time. So I'm skeptical then about his 7 to 9.
I'm going to give you a prime example in the NFL. There's a 49ers wide receiver named Brandon Ayuk. He tore his ACL back in last October. He tore his ACL and MCL. Now, his is more contact, so it may not have been the same thing. Barkov's might be more of what we call a clean tear, where there wasn't, structural damage to the PCL or meniscus as well. Ayuk tore everything, and he still isn't back, and they don't even have a timetable of when he's going to be back. And we're on soon to be month 12 on him. Now with Alexander Barkov, you might be looking for, again, an NFL comp, the Stephon Diggs type, where he had a non-contact injury, who tore his ACL, I think it was the same week as Brandon Ayuk. He was back week 1 of the NFL season practicing and a little bit ahead of schedule. I think he's age 31, so it's right around the age of what Barkov is right now. Maybe Barkov's a little bit younger.
28.
28. So Barkov's a little bit younger. Diggs came back, was ready for week 1, and he was practicing pretty significantly by July, August. That's the difference in this. Barkov has more of the the clean tear where he could be back in maybe the 9 to 10 month range, where he didn't get like what happened with Ayuk, where he had other ligaments damage and could be looking at a year plus. So with Barkov, realistically, he's not going to be back the entire regular season. Would probably miss at least the first 2 rounds of the playoffs if Florida were to go that far. Probably may have a chance to be back in the conference finals. But if you're Florida, you really want to bring him back when he's not hockey shape, hasn't played all year. He probably won't be anything close to 100%, even if he's playing, because you got that ramp-up period, too, for a couple weeks. If Florida's smart, in my opinion, you put him on LTIR for the year. Don't bring him back until next season. Let him be fully healthy and take the full $10 million of cap relief for the year and try to find a temporary solution. And I'll say this, if Bill Zito's the best GM in hockey, if there's anyone that can find that hole to fill for that time being, it's him. This team's still talented. Then now, are they going to be as threatening as they were without Barkov? Absolutely not. There's a little more of a hole down the middle now. Sam Bennett and Anton Lundell are going to be asked to do more. They're going to be your top 6 centers. And Lundell, they're both top 6 centers, but is Sam Bennett a 1C? Probably not, no.
Neither of them are 1C.
No. I think I would probably be more reliant on Lundell running the 1C, at least for the time being.
Here's why I agree with that. Here's why, because Barkov was what? The Selke winner, wasn't he? So this is a premier two-way center, right? He's got a two-way game. Lundell has a two-way game and a good one. I think he's probably the guy, because of that. Yeah. He replaces Barkov better than Bennett would.
Exactly.
All around.
So don't be stupid. Don't rush him back. You still have some good centers down the middle. It's a good thing they kept Evan Rodriguez now. That ended up being a blessing in disguise. They're going to get Matty Tkachuk back at some point. It'll probably not be until December, January.
Yeah, December. Yeah.
So he's temporary IR. Carter Verhaeghe, Sam Reinhart, Brad Marchand is still 3 excellent wingers in your top 6. You still have Gustav Forsling, who's one of the most underrated number one defensemen in hockey.
Their defensemen
you found a way to bring back Ekblad. You still have Bob and Ned, who can still play like a top 10 goalie in the league.
That's a question mark. Wait a second. That you talk about, that's a question mark.
What?
Bob, that's got to be a bit of a question mark now. How he didn't have the greatest season, I think.
No, but the thing with Bob
there's a decline there. That could be a problem, especially when you lose a guy like Barkov.
I need Bob to decline when it matters the most, and when the postseason starts, he plays his best.
But they still got to get there.
No, I think this, but I'm saying my argument right now, I still think they have more than enough talent to get there.
Who's his backup? Who's his backup?
Backup for Florida right now. I'm trying to think.
I can't think of that's it. I can't think of who it is.
I think it's Tarasov, if I remember correctly.
The kid they got from Columbus.
Right, yeah. Tarasov, Daniel Tarasov.
Yeah,
that's a Tarasov. Yeah.
And he was having
a question mark,
if I remember correctly.
But that's a question mark. I like the kid. I think he's pretty good. But I mean, that's a question mark still.
Mm-hmm.
So if Bob gets either injured or he has a decent drop off, combined with Barkov being out, that could be really bad for Florida, obviously, right?
Valid.
And I'm just saying that's the question marks that are out there for Florida.
Yeah, that's valid. That's definitely a valid argument. I don't know what we're going to see from Florida. If they're not as strong as of a team, losing those 2 guys, one they will get back, but Barkov's the best player. He is. So
and Tkachuk and Barkov, they're 2 best players, right? So Tkachuk's out for 3 months.
So
that's so. How do they weather that storm of Tkachuk being out?
They're going to have to do it with their.
That's going to be, till
they're going to have to do it by committee and do it with their blue line. And I still think they have the talent. I'm still going to put Florida maybe 3rd or a wild card. I'll probably put them as the first. Now I already put Montreal as the first wild card last week. Let's put Florida at 2nd. But now I don't want to put. just for argument's sake, I'll put Florida at third just because I don't want to rejumble everything. But if I had to re-rank these, I'd probably put them a little lower. But
I put them for the second wild card. Why? Because look at last season. As good as they were last season, they struggled to get that third spot. Right? They were having trouble at the end of the season, right? So
But
I'm just saying, I still think Atlantic is going to put 5 teams into the playoffs. So I think Florida's either going to get one of the wild card spots. That's how I see it.
I do think, though, Florida may have also been somewhat coasting at some point because a team with that level of talent, you are good enough to get to the playoffs. They made now 3 straight cups, 1 back-to-back. So at the end of the day,
a lot of hockey.
I think the fatigue may have set in more than actual struggles. So they may have just started coasting to make sure that they could pretty much pace themselves for when it matters.
But for any team that's going to three-peat,
of course,
that's a challenge just in doing that and being able to do that. Then you give them, you lost your best player and your other best player for the first 3 months. It's going to be a challenge for them to get to the playoffs. I think they will.
Think it will be a little bit.
I think they will, but I think this is we're going to start seeing now that the tide turning where the bottom teams that, they're going to start being on the top and these top teams are going to start falling down. That's how I have it this year in my final standings.
Well, look, I think that basically all they have to do, Florida, is really tread water until Tkachuk is back. Because at the end of the day, look, Barkov is a huge piece that they just lost. Like, it's going to be, you can't replace him. You just can't. Luckily, they had the luxury of having someone like Anton Lundell as their third line center, so they like I said, you could just move. And like to Rick's point, I think he hit it on the nose there. Like, he's gonna be the number 1 center. I think Sam Bennett's talented, Sam Bennett's great, but I think Anton Lundell just brings way more to the table than Bennett does. Defensively, even offensively, I think Lundell with the right players, with the right amount of minutes and everything,
he can get the same points totals. Bennett doesn't usually get more than 50.
No, Bennett's about a 45 to 50 point player,
and Lundell can get that, and he replaces more of what Barkov.
Yeah, and that's it with added minutes, maybe more minutes on the power play. So he's basically gonna take all of Barkov's minutes. So I think his numbers should go up.
Yeah.
Also, like, look, Florida has this kid, Maki Samoskevich, who actually lost his spot on the team last year when they got Marchand. And he's actually a pretty good young player. So they have like an extra good young winger that could. Now he's gonna get some elevated minutes because now, like, obviously with Tkachuk gone, so at least until December. So look, I think they have enough depth to, and like actually also quick to Alex's point also with Evan Rodriguez. Because me too, I thought Evan Rodriguez was gone, like, because they needed to clear cap or whatever, that he was the odd man out. And like, luckily they kept him around because now he could just swing into that 3C spot for the time being. And look, Bill Zito is always on the prowl, always looking for something, looking for that deal.
Now he's got plenty of money.
Exactly.
Get $10 million cap if they put him out for the year.
Yeah. And that's it. And like, look, let's say, because with the reporting, right, is 7 to 9 months is the time frame.
Yeah.
So 7 months. So the minimum takes you to April.
Yeah. So beginning of April.
Beginning of the playoffs. So if everything goes well, he can maybe, possibly come back for the playoffs. If it doesn't go well and like it takes the full 9 months, well, now you're in June. So playoffs are done. But like,
well, maybe he'll be back before that, but yeah, I mean, they might not be there anyway. So,
and then you have to have only 3.8 of a cap hit then too. You have to be cap compliant with the new rules.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think it's going to be a really tough decision for Florida, especially hopefully like by the deadline, by the trade deadline, they'll have a clear picture of everything, like of his timetable and everything. And if they see, look, even if he does come back, maybe he comes back by May, maybe. But like Alex said, we don't want to force him because they still have a good enough team that they can still compete for the next 2-3 years. So, you know, do you want to risk like him coming back in the playoffs, high intensity? Everyone's bringing it to another level. Now, this guy's just coming off like rehabbing his knee, hasn't played all season. So, I don't know. Like maybe they do shut him down for the year and say, you know what, we'll take the 10 million and we'll see what we could do with it. And honestly, I think that would probably be the best thing for Florida because I don't know. Do you want to risk another knee injury? So I don't know. I honestly, I think it's bad. Yes, it sucks, but I think there's enough talent on that team. And like I said, I think Zito makes either a waiver claim or some kind of trade at some point that's just for a little extra help. And I think they still finish around like 3-4 in the division.
Yeah, well, I just think that's a really tough decision, right? Because when do they have to make that decision by? Does anybody know?
They don't have to do it by any particular time, but I think it would be smart to make it obviously before the trade deadline, so they know what they can or can't acquire.
Well, but yes and no. Think about it this way, though. What if he does? Like some guys heal faster than others. I've seen guys come back way faster than.
But you'll have a better picture by then.
Yeah. So that's why I'm asking. So they don't have to make this decision for.
No, they don't have to make it today or tomorrow.
Seeing how he heals.
Realistically, it's no official date they have to make the decision. But the realistic date is before the trade deadline. So if they want to make the team any better,
right? Or they get another injury and then they need to make a decision because they got to go get somebody. Like, what do we do? Yeah. Okay. I'm curious about that.
From what I understood of everything that I've heard or read is that they have to let the league know before they spend the money. I mean, they could spend the 3.75 whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because you get that.
Yeah.
For any player on LTR now.
Right. If they want to go over that.
They want to exceed that.
Yeah.
They have to let the league know. But once they agree to it, it's done.
It's done.
Barkov cannot come back.
Yeah, that's the new rule. Once you decide, then that's it. The guy cannot come back, or I imagine it's the other way around. You can always extend that, but if you've said the guy is out for the season and playoffs, that's it. He's out. He cannot come back.
Yeah. Once you let the league know that he's done, he's done.
Yeah. Once you've taken that money, the full money, he's not coming back till next year. Yeah. No, that's very interesting. How what decision they're going to take on that. And for me, final question on this. Who the hell is out there anyway for them to go out and get that, I don't even know. Now, they could obviously talk to teams and maybe work out something we would never think of, obviously. But off the top of my head, there's nobody of anywhere close to Barkov's caliber, right, that would be available.
Close to Barkov, no, but Evgeny Malkin, if you really want to bring in another center with playoff experience,
that's a guy that seems like to make the most sense would be Evgeny Malkin. Pittsburgh has already said they're not bringing him back past this year.
No, he's
but doesn't he? He must have no movement.
He does.
He knows that they're not bringing him back.
Right. If you go to Malkin, hey, you want to go to Florida for 3 months? Go in the sun and win a cup.
That's true. Yeah. No, that is true. That is true.
No kidding. It's not like you have to twist his arm. What would you rather do? Go to Florida, compete for a cup, and stay in Pittsburgh and sink with the ship?
Okay, so what does Malkin make? Anybody know?
It's 6 point something. If I'm
not,
it's somewhere in the mid to high 6 range.
It's not that high.
Now, last question on that. So say they trade Malkin. What does Crosby do? People are saying Crosby's going to want to.
Crosby just seems like he's adamant he wants to stay. But, as the year goes on, that could change.
And if they trade Malkin, you think that you think that would affect his decision?
I'll say this. The fact that Pittsburgh came out already and said that they plan on moving, saying this is Malkin's last year here no matter what, Crosby's probably already taken that into consideration. And the fact that he's still adamant about staying tells you a lot. Now, mind you, again, if another year of losing builds up, which is what's going to happen in Pittsburgh, because that team fucking blows, that's a bottom 5 team in the league for sure. If they have another year of losing and sucking, Crosby might continue to get more and more fed up. Now,
he will.
Let's see.
The only thing is that Crosby, I don't think he's fed up. This is what I'm saying. Apparently, all these rumors about him being moved, by the way, is the agent putting them out there. Crosby does not want them out there. Did not put them out there. Apparently, it's his agent, Brisson. So he's saying no. He's totally loyal to the Penguins, and he's not going anywhere. Anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't think he's coming to Montreal. By the way, my chair is broken. If anybody's wondering, that's why I'm having this trouble.
And by the way, Malkin is making $6.1 million.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's and if Pittsburgh retains half, you're at 3.05. Who can't fit that?
True.
In?
So even if they say, well, maybe he'll come back, we'll take the 3.8. They could still go get Malkin. Yeah, that might make sense right there. All right. So let's move on to did we figure out where? Yeah, we did where they're going to finish up. Tampa's next. I'm not starting on any of these. So who wants to start?
Eric, why don't you lead this one off, and I'll lead off on Toronto.
Tampa Bay. I think this is actually going to be a little bit of a. I don't want to. Not that they had a bad season last year, so I want to say like a bounce back. When I say a bounce back season, it's because I actually think that Tampa will actually win the division this year. Now, look, I'm a little bit concerned about Vasilevsky and his health because, I think he was back at practice this week or yesterday or something or today. Not sure. So we'll see where that goes because their backup goalie situation isn't the best. So we'll see. But look, they still have Kucherov. Kucherov is still a solid player. Braden Point, Cirelli, and now you have a full season of Yanni Gourde that's gonna come back into get back into the routine. Hopefully, Bjorkstrand. Look, Bjorkstrand struggled last year getting back. After the trade, he didn't really click. So hopefully he can, take another maybe acclimate himself with the team better, and hopefully he could take a step. And then you still have guys like Hagel and Gensel on the wings. And look, their defense still solid with Hedman and McDonough, Cernak, JJ Moser, good young defensemen. There's, again, biggest question mark, I think, obviously, is goaltending and the health of Vasilevsky. Maybe, who knows, they'll maybe pick up a guy off waivers, possibly if he's not ready to start the season. But, this is still a good veteran team that's won before. And, look, after winning as much as they did, it was normal. Look, they lost a bunch of players to free agency. They couldn't afford to keep them. And with the fatigue and everything. But now I think Tampa is.
Be right back.
All right. Tampa, I think they're just ready to take that next step. They got, and plus they got a couple of good young players. Connor Geeky coming up, Gonclaves. They got a couple of young kids that, who knows, maybe if they could take another step. But no, I think this is just a really good veteran team that could rediscover their identity and really do some damage this year.
So I look at this Tampa team. They still have their top end talent. Cirelli has flourished as their new 2C. Brandon Hagel really broke out over the last couple of years. Jake Getzel continues to be a superstar top line winger. Nikita Kucherov, enough said, first ballot Hall of Famer. Braden Point, one of the better 1Cs in the league. The issue with Tampa really just comes to the depth. They aren't as deep as they used to be when they were winning those cups and dominating the league. And it's an older team. It's probably, at least with their core guys, it's an older team. You mentioned Bjorkstrand. I'm curious to see how he does now with an offseason with Tampa. Yanni Gourde now being back there for another full offseason, his second stint there. But I don't know too much about the rest of their depth. I don't know much about Jack Finley, who is projected to be their 3C right now.
Well, Yanni Gourde's going to be the 3C.
That's right. Yanni Gourde is, he can swap between wing and center, but technically he'll probably start off at 3C. And then you look at the deep pairings. I mean, Hedman and Ryan McDonough are solidified on their top two spots on the left side, but then Eric Cernak is a good second pairing defenseman. Darren Radish is all right, but I think I agree with you, Eric. Jonas Johansson as their backup goalie. I don't know how exactly I feel with that. That could be a little sluggish. The big thing I pointed with Tampa last year when I made my prediction for them to miss the playoffs was Vasilevsky's back. He came off the back surgery. Now, obviously, he played pretty damn well, but backs don't hold up forever. Is it going to continue to hold up for him, or will he eventually start battling the injury bug? He's up there in age. He's starting to creep into his mid-30s. He's not a spring chicken anymore. So,
and he played a lot of hockey. Well, he's actually was injured one year. Yeah, right. Okay, I take that back. He had that long rest.
Yeah, but I think Tampa still ends up in the top 3, but we'll see from there. I'll have them. I don't know, maybe second. I'll say second for now, but it's not a convincing second.
Oh, I have to go now?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Oh, it's me too. Well, I have them, just to go to that straight up, I've got them fighting with Florida for 4th or 5th in the division. A lot of hockey. They played a lot of hockey. Vasilevsky's going to be a key. If he's hot and has a good season and all that, I'm going to be wrong on my prediction, but we'll see. I mean, he's getting to the age where it's, I don't have confidence totally. Like, remember when he was hot, so much confidence in Vasilevsky as a goalie. Now it's falling off, so we'll see. As far as, they still have the talent up front. They've got good, solid offense in their top 6. Their defense is good. It's a good team in a good division. I just think the younger teams are going to outpace them a little bit. And I don't think they're going to be like so far off of the pace of the top 2 teams. But I just think a few points back, and I have them like 4th in my actual list, but it could be 5th. It could be 3rd. But I'm gonna go with 4th for those reasons. Yeah. And that's all I got on Tampa. I don't know. All right. Anybody else got anything?
No, I just want to say, look, when it comes to look, the biggest concern, like I said, with Tampa, and like everybody I see here has the same concern, is the goaltending. Look, at the end of the day, I've always said it myself. I think paying a goalie big money is a mistake, and you can't build a team behind a goalie. That's just, you can't do that. And that's why I think there is enough talent on this team. Again, like with a couple of their young players, hopefully if they could actually make the team and like help produce. And then actually you have Nick Paul. He's on IR right now, but they'll eventually get him back, I think. But his long term, but I think it's gonna be like mid-season. So that's just another piece that they're gonna get back into their lineup. I think they're gonna be a team to watch with the waiver wire for a goalie, because I think they're probably gonna claim somebody. And
so many teams need goalies. It's gonna be tough. You gotta be.
I know. No, it's really gonna be hard. It is. It's gonna be tough because, like I said, there's 2 guys that I keep on hearing all the time that could be available if they were put on waivers, and that's like Michael DiPietro from Boston, and there's one kid, I'm blanking on his name right now, but from Washington, their 3rd goalie. But like, now who knows? But they just need somebody, or maybe they make like a minor trade and get like somebody's backup, or like, look, Connor Ingram was put on waivers by Utah. Maybe like he cleared, but like maybe they work out some kind of trade for him. Who knows?
Like Edmonton didn't go for that kid.
Honestly, yeah, I think they're waiting for somebody else. That's what I personally think. I think they're just waiting for somebody to be available. But yeah, look, I think if Tampa could actually go and either claim or trade for somebody competent, just somebody actually competent, because I don't, like Alex, I don't believe in their backup goalie. I saw him play a few times last year. And it was very
so he's okay, but he's not consistently okay though. Like, I don't think, but he's not as he's okay, but I mean that's what happens though when you have to overpay. Like when you pay so much to your number one, it's hard to afford, especially when you got some big salaries up, on your skater. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard to afford a quality backup.
No, that's right. But honestly, look, I think they like what they did last year, like especially towards the deadline, bringing back Gord and getting Bjorkstrand. I think it really helped their bottom six, like really rebuilt that third line. Now, again, Bjorkstrand didn't really adjust quickly enough, but look, he's a good player. So I think eventually, like, he'll figure it out. Like I said, Connor Geeky, young kid that they have coming. Gonkley is another kid, young kid they got coming. If these guys can actually take that next step and actually produce something, I honestly, I think that's why I personally think they're going to end up, especially with now the injuries with Florida. No, that's why I think Tampa is going to win the division this year.
Yeah, no, I don't see them winning the division. I really don't. I just think there's enough of those ifs, and they're a team that has been, a top team in this division for a long time. They've gone deep in a lot of playoffs. And I don't know. Eventually, that's got to catch up to you, especially if those young kids that you're talking about don't make that step up to relieve some of that pressure. If that doesn't happen, yeah, I don't. So there's a lot of ifs there. If that all, like you said, if it all breaks right, sure, they could win the division because they do have the talent. Like, they do have a lot of talent there. There's no doubt. I see them fourth in the division.
Fourth, okay.
Yep.
I'm going to put them second.
Okay.
All right. One team left. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Rick's favorite team that he loves so much.
Yes.
That he just can't wait to talk about them.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to start with them. I'll do this guy. Okay,
right,
Toronto.
Away, Rick.
Toronto lost Mitch Marner, and they're going to feel that in the standings. They're not going to – I don't think they're going to finish out of the playoffs or anything like that, but I do think they have a drop-off in points. Significant enough that, probably, they finished, I think, 108 last season. I'm looking at 9 points for them. With Florida, this happening with Florida, I think they finish in third. They just take the captain, Matthews. Is he healthy? Is he going to be able to play all season? They're talking about him coming back to having another 60 goal season. I don't see that. I don't see him being able to do that anymore. Is he a top 10 center in this league? Still,
when healthy.
When healthy. Okay, when healthy. But is he healthy? And if he's not, then is he? There's a lot of question marks there. One thing I think they are better, that's a grittier team. There's no doubt that's a grittier team. They're going to be more physical and maybe even a little meaner. That can do them well, and I'll admit that. But I think they finished third in this division behind Montreal. I'm biased. I'm not going to deny that. I'm biased, but I do think they have that drop off in points, which it'll keep them from first place finish in the division. Like I said, though, they've got still a good top six, a good even bottom six now. I think that gritty bottom six is better. The defense is okay, and I would like to see them have. I kind of think they've addressed some of that, right? Having those defensive defensemen instead of everybody being an offensive defenseman. They've kind of addressed that. Goaltending is good if Stolarz can stay healthy. I think, and I like Wall, but he hasn't proven that yet. And Stolarz has proven that he's going to be quality when he plays. You look at his numbers, but can he stay healthy the whole season? He just signed a new contract. That's good for them. Yeah, I think they have a bit of a drop off, and it's going to drop them into third.
Yeah, no, look, I have to be perfectly honest. I just have a lot of concerns and questions on the Leafs this year. Look, losing a player that had 104 points is not nothing. It's really not. And then the biggest addition you made to replace those points is taking a chance on Matthias Michelli and hoping that he regains his form from a couple years ago. And even a couple years ago, he was at 50-something points. So, and look, they added nice pieces like Dakota Joshua and
to be grittier.
Yeah, they got grit. They built themselves to be a better playoff team.
A playoff, yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to get to the playoffs.
Yeah. Have they screwed that part up? I think a little bit. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to get a little concerned about their goaltending as well. Because now Joseph Wall, he's gone for personal reasons. Now,
I saw that. It's true. I saw something about that.
it's like, okay, whatever. Maybe like you'll be gone for maybe a few days. Today on 32 Thoughts, Elliot Freeman was talking about now they signed James Reimer to a
That's why
PTO.
they signed James Reimer.
And Elliot Freeman was also talking about like the possibility of claiming somebody off waivers or something for Toronto.
Oh, I wonder what's up with Wall.
He wouldn't be, in my opinion, he wouldn't be talking like that if there's no smoke.
Right.
Like, especially that they just signed Reimer to a PTO as well.
They're looking definitely to, in case they want to be prepared. But why are they trying to be prepared then?
That's my thing, right? Like, is that I don't know why are they trying to be prepared?
Like if you lose Wall,
and look, Anthony Stolarz, look, the past few years, the past couple of years, he's put up really good numbers. Like
he's got good numbers.
Good numbers.
Yeah.
What's the problem with Anthony Stolarz? He's hurt constantly. Yeah. So
healthy.
If Wool's not available and Stolarz gets hurt,
hey, you got Matt Murray.
No, Matt Murray's gone. He's with
he's gone now?
Nashville.
Yeah.
But
you got James Reimer, so everything's good. You got
they have Dennis Hildeby in the minors, the Hildebeest. So is he ready?
The Leafs have these questions and fucking goaltending.
So goaltending for me is now becoming a massive question mark in Toronto. The loss of Marner. What if Matthews gets hurt again, and misses 20 games?
And how much will he miss? Because he's got a back problem. It seems that's clear. That is going to be it's going to bother him at times. He's going to miss time.
You know what, Morgan Riley? Look, good defenseman, but the past couple of years he's been slowing down, and he doesn't get the point totals like he used to. And
their window is closing. That's because their window was open for a while, and now it's on the way down. And they got,
And look, it's nice to have McCabe and Tanev and these defensive defensemen, but you need guys also to move the puck, to move up in the play, to help your forwards. They have Riley, who's been regressing, and they have Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's more of a third pair. I think they're missing at least one more puck mover on that back end. So maybe it's going to be something they're going to be looking for throughout the year. I don't know. And Easton Cowan looks like he might make the team. So maybe he's going to be that rookie that, maybe comes out of nowhere.
He looks like he may be ready.
Yeah. So I don't know. And they're also They're also betting on Matty Nyes that he's ready maybe to take another step.
Well, I don't disagree with that. That's one player on Toronto. I'll openly say I like that player.
Oh, I like Nyes too. I think he's
a good player. I think he'll take another step. He took a big step last year. I think he continues that.
Yeah, but is he going to be more or less the same of what he was last year, or just take a little bit more? He's not going to jump and become a 100-point player.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I know you didn't say that. I'm just saying if Toronto believes that.
That's Toronto though, so that's understandable. But yeah, I agree with you. That's right. How much of a step? He need to take a huge step to replace Marner, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not going to do that. If anybody thinks Nyes is going to replace Marner's 102 points, yeah, you're delusional.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say, look, Matthew Nyes got 58 points last year. Could he hit 70? Yeah. Quite possibly. I don't think that's out of the question. But that's a 12-point increase?
Yeah. You're not looking at much more than that.
Yeah.
Right? You can't realistically look at much more than that for him. And if they're looking at that and saying, well, he's going to find the other 30 points, I don't think so. I don't see how.
Look, I think I think maybe they think that they could win games 3-2, 2-1, or whatever, because the way this team is built.
Kind of, right? Because they got that a bit of a grittier team. I think maybe that's what they're looking to do, since they know they're going to miss Marner's points.
Yeah, so that's why I don't know. Look, personally, I don't know with Toronto right now. If I had to guess, I'm putting them I don't know. Call me crazy, but I'm putting them 5th.
Oh, I like that one. So you're not crazy at all. And I love that pick. I love that. I wish I was I had that. I'm jealous of you.
So my thoughts on Toronto. I do think Matthew Nyes is going to take another step forward. I think he is a really talented winger. Not to the Marner extent, but I think he'll be pushing into the 70-ish point range, especially playing on that top line consistently. Austin Matthews is a big question mark. Will he be the Austin Matthews of old? Will his back hold up? Yep. I will say one addition that they made I really did like was the addition of Matthias Michelli. He had a down year out in Utah last year, but 2 years ago he looked really well. So I think a revamped start with some more offensive talent around him with Matthews, Tavares, Nines, Nylander, McCann, etc. Easton Cohen also should be up and ready to play more consistently. He'll probably be on their third line to some degree. Obviously, Scott Laughton's there, the Swiss Army knife in their bottom six, one of the better PKers in the league. I love Murderface, so I'll always root for him, even if he's on Toronto. Their decor is old. Enough said.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Riley is getting up there in age. Jake McCabe is getting up there in age. Chris Tanev is already up there in age.
That's true.
Carlo is already up there in age. OEL is up there in age. This is an old decor. Flat, plain, and simple. They need to get some youth there because I think it's pretty apparent they're going to probably eventually, just with age alone, suffer an injury or two on that blue line.
Yeah, for sure. Do they have any prospects on D that anybody knows?
They don't have the greatest prospect pool. I don't want to talk like I know Toronto's prospect pool all that well. I don't, but and then I will give Toronto one thing. I do think they have a good goalie duo in Joseph Wall and Anthony Stollarz. Stollarz extending was big. Wall obviously being hurt right now is big, but I think Reimer can handle backup duties temporarily until Wall is ready to go.
Yeah, maybe.
But
it's still a question mark, though.
Yeah, they're going to be interesting to watch for sure. I do think Toronto is still going to end. I know Rick's not going to like this. I could still see them end first.
I know. I like Eric a lot better than you.
I know.
A lot better.
But I do still think Toronto does have enough talent. Losing Marner is a big loss, don't get me wrong. And I think the top of the Atlantic is going to be a dogfight. Like the top 3 teams are going to be separated by like 3 or 4 points. So it's not like they're going to run away with the division.
I think top 4 teams are going to be, but I agree with you on that.
It's going to be a dogfight.
It's going to be.
I think 4 teams, 3 or 4 teams, end with over 100 points. Who knows?
Yeah.
At least 2 for sure. I think Tampa and Toronto will. And I think maybe Florida, maybe Montreal could push forward. I think they'll both probably be in the 90s more likely than not. But I think Toronto still does have enough talent. I do think you see a better Austin Matthews this year. I do think Anthony Stollarz is legit. Another former Flyers goalie that has gone on to have fucking success elsewhere. But yeah, and I do think one thing about Toronto that doesn't give them enough credit is I do think their forward depth is pretty decent. Yeah, I do. I don't think it's that bad at all. Michelli, I think, could find the form he had 2 years ago where he was starting to find his game a little bit with a better forward core around him. I could see him even sneak into the top 6 at some point. But I do think Toronto, their decor is a big question to me just because of how old they are. But I'll give Toronto, I'll say first, but it will be like an ugly first. It will be like a thing where them, Tampa, are just going back and forth all year. Maybe Florida sneaks in there even with their injuries. Ottawa and Montreal. I think the same 4 or 5 teams are going to be in the playoffs that were there last year in the Atlantic. So, yeah, I'll put them first.
Yeah, I can't see that.
No, I don't see that happening. I just think there's like already I see like a lot of these teams have question marks, but I just see a lot of question marks in Toronto, and that's why I just cannot put them. Look, I can't put them top 3. Honestly, that I just can't do it. I see them be maybe 3, but I see them more as 4 or 5. I think them in Florida, Montreal are battling for positions 3 to 5, but I just think like because look, like we said, like previous show, I think Montreal needs a center. I think they're gonna address it at a certain point in the season. At some point this season, Montreal, I'm pretty sure Montreal will address that center position, and just by fixing that, I think it puts them ahead of Toronto, and that's why I think like Montreal probably ends up in the third spot, especially now with Florida with the injuries they have. So I have Florida maybe on fourth, and then I'm like, where do I put Toronto? Where do I put Toronto? If I think Ottawa and Tampa Bay are going to be the top two teams in the Atlantic, because like I look at up and down their lineup and like you're like, okay, where's the holes? Where's the holes? And you're like, and just for me, Toronto just has way too many uncertainty and too many holes that I cannot in good conscience put them in, at least I can't put them in the top three, that's for sure.
And they're having a points drop off. I don't think that's a doubt. Like a significant one.
For sure.
Like 10-point drop off from last year.
Look at it this way, okay? Just if Matthews, let's say, does get hurt, like his back, something happens again with his back or whatever it is that's bothering him, he misses 20 games. Okay, well, now you're asking John Tavares, who's what, 35? Whatever. Anyway, you're asking him to be your 1C. After that, who's behind Tavares? Joshua Roy? Scott Lawton? Max Domi? Like
Max Domi, probably.
Ugh. Like you want to talk about thin? That's thin.
Yeah.
Like
they got question marks. Yeah, they're not finished.
I don't know. For me, like I said, way too many question marks in Toronto. I really think that Mitch Marner, that letting him, well, not letting him walk, he decided to walk, but like losing him, man, it's that's gonna hurt. Because like a lot of people don't understand, like maybe don't realize, because every like image we have of Mitch Marner is it like him making a mistake defensively in the especially in the playoffs, but we don't realize that Marner is actually a very good defensive player. He's gotten Selke votes. He plays on the penalty kill. He plays 5-on-5. He plays on the power play. He does everything for this. He did everything for that team. Now you're losing a guy like that. Now look, granted, you got Dakota Joshua. Now you're gonna have a full season of Scott Lawton, Nicolas Roy. But again, these are bottom six players. That's what they are. And like Matias Maccelli too. I really liked Matias Maccelli when he was in Arizona. I don't know what happened last year. Just couldn't put it together. Again, but they're hoping that he can regain his form. And when you're like, oh, well, we're hoping he can regain his form. We're hoping Matt Nice can take a step. We're hoping that like our defense is gonna last a full season because they're really old. We're hoping Anthony Stolarz isn't gonna get hurt. We're hoping that like at a certain point, you're like, guys, this is too much hoping. Like it's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot of like held
together. My issue with them is that decor is just ancient. So.
But yet you want them in first.
Well,
I just don't think any team can lose 100-point player who, like you said, plays like on all everywhere, and then you're expecting them to repeat to win the division. I don't think so. Especially with like if they didn't have the holes they have on the team, okay, but they do have these holes, and so that's how we have it. All right. Any last thoughts on divisional talk, or are we going to move on to one of our own topics?
I think I said what I had to say.
Yeah, me too. We did an hour on it, so I think it's pretty good.
As usual.
All right. So whose topic do we pick? Go eeny, meeny,
miny. Alex's. I like Alex's.
All right. Let's go with Alex's.
So, Pierre LeBrun came out earlier today announcing that the NHL season will be starting up next season, a year from today, September 29th. It's the earliest start to an NHL season that we've had probably in my fandom of being a hockey fan. I can't remember ever seeing NHL regular season hockey starting at the end of September.
Yeah, I don't remember growing
this
up.
Is mainly because the NHL is implementing an 84-game season and trying to have the cup end a little bit earlier in June, which I'm glad, thankfully. Mm-hmm. But what is everyone's take on the NHL implementing an 84-game season as a collective whole it sounds like they're doing this so they can add the 2 more division games to make you play everyone within the division 4 times, as well as having this cup end a little bit earlier.
See this money? That's what it's about. If I'm correct, they've had 84 games before.
They have, they did for like I think a season or 2.
Yeah.
When did that
didn't. I don't remember why
it was a point in the 90s.
Yeah. And then they went back to the 82 games. So I wonder. I don't remember why they did that, but
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I don't know if I like it, to be honest with you. I don't know if I like it.
I love it.
Yeah?
I'm sorry, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so leave me last then. What do you guys like about it? Okay, Eric,
look,
go ahead.
First of all, I just love the fact that they're starting the season earlier.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
I think it starts a little bit too late. Now, like this year, it's not so bad. Like October 7th, it's not so bad. I think last year it started like in the early teens. I don't remember exactly.
13th was the first game.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's too late. Like, come on, man. Like, especially that they decide after basically like the 10th of July that nothing is gonna fucking happen anymore until like the 1st of September. Like it's way too long. Like training camp is way too long. These players nowadays, they come in great shape. It's not like it was before. Like, you keep on hearing like sometimes like you listen to like older players or whatever, and they'll be talking about like, yeah, we came into training camp to get into playing shape, No, these kids nowadays, man, they come into camp in playing shape and they use like the training camp to just like systems and to gel with the rest of their teammates, get to know their new teammates, and let's go. So why does it have to be like almost a month and a half of training camp? Like not officially, but because usually the players report to their cities by Labor Day, everyone is in their city. So you know what? Just start training camp by right after Labor Day. Start it then.
It must have been like that when I was a kid.
Plus, I don't need to see 8 exhibition games. I don't care. Like I really like
12.
So give me 2 more games that actually mean something over like 8 games that mean absolutely nothing. Look, it means something to certain players that are trying to make the team.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we you look at that roster that's at training camp, and maybe 1 or 2 players might surprise you, but more or less, who's making the team. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not only about that, though, right? The thing I don't like is you're giving these young players less of a chance to get a taste of it. Anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, but it's just that more or less for me. It's like if it were up to me, I would start like the NHL season like about like September 15th, like September 15th, September 20, something like that. You start training camp as of like right after Labor Day. You start mid-September. Like I think the NHL just doesn't want to compete with the NFL, especially at the beginning of the NFL season and everything.
That's a big reason right there. They're going to get weak ratings if they do that for sure.
Yeah, but you try if that's the case, you try and schedule like around their season. Like, look, NFL, especially at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, it's Saturday and Thursdays, pretty much.
Monday too.
Oh, and Monday.
Sunday, Thursday, and Monday. So it makes it a little more challenging for sure.
So that leaves you with Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Like there's still days, okay? So there's where you could fill the schedule. Like don't put that many games on Monday. Put like some random stupid game on Monday. Who cares? Like, but put like your big hitters on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Make those your days, and that's it. Put your marquee matchups on those days when there's no NFL, and it's, I guess, baseball, you're leading up to the World Series, to the playoffs. So but still, whatever. So I don't know. I like it. I think there's just way too much time that the season is off. And like I said, why do we have to give the cup almost in July? No.
Yeah, let's finish.
Let's finish by early June, and then that's it. And then we could just go enjoy our summer. And that's it.
Yeah, when I was young, I mean, it was mid-May. They were somewhere in mid-May. I think the cup was.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember it finishing around either end of May or early, really, the cup was given out on June 3rd. You know,
it's like mid to mid, like by the third week of May, I think it was done.
Yeah. Now it's like it's almost Saint Jean Baptiste, and they're still didn't even give out the cup. It's like, what the hell, man?
Come on. And to that, there's an extra round from when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's
extra round.
So
something there.
So when it comes to this, I want to piggyback a little bit off of some of Eric's points. I agree that I'm glad that the season is starting a little bit earlier. I think starting in mid-October sometimes is a tad too late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the preseason and training camp, I feel like just drags on. And as you're seeing guys, they report usually like the second full week of September, and it's like a month of preseason and training camp combined. It's a little much for me. If you can cut it down to like 3 weeks, it's a little more tolerable. Like 1 week of training camp, 2 weeks of preseason. Each team gets like 5 games, get into the NHL.
Supposed to be 4 games.
Yeah, I think it's going down to 4.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I'm fine with that. But
perfect.
I will say, in terms of getting it into mid-September and the scheduling conflict, it would just be way too challenging, I think, because you're battling with the NFL for starters. I mean, you're already doing that anyway, but you're not doing it as much, starting it at like late September, early October. So not only you battling with the NFL on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, you also have college football on Saturday, and that also makes it so now you only have 3 days of pristine hockey, and 2 of them go back to back with Tuesday and Wednesday. So these dudes, you'll be scheduling multiple back-to-backs constantly. So I think there's just too many hurdles to go over. And then when you have to integrate into the regular part of the season, transitioning back to playing more the Tuesday, Thursday that the NFL does do. I mean, not the NFL, I'm sorry, that the NHL does do, with Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday being their primary days. I feel like you see games played. I've noticed that pattern where the NBA is more like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, NHL
beer games on like Wednesday for the NHL, and the NBA usually will do Tuesday and Thursday. I feel like just sticking with that habit and staying away from the NFL as much in college football as much as possible is good. Now, I kind of contradict my point to stating that I'm happy that they're starting a little earlier, but I don't just going that far into mid-September is just going to be too much of a battle with ratings for 2-3 weeks versus like just a couple days. I don't think it's as bad. But anyway, I do. The one thing I will say, I can't stand the fact that they're going back to 84. Just stick it to 82 and revise the schedule. I'm going to go on my same fucking rant I always do about the damn schedule. Stop fucking shoving 2 games against the opposite conference in our face every fucking year. I don't need to see Washington versus San Jose or Detroit versus Vancouver or Tampa Bay versus Calgary twice a year. If fucking Gary Bettman wants to emphasize an in-play division as much, have teams play each other 6 times within the fucking division, 42 games. 3 times against the opposing division in the conference, 24 games. That gets you to 66. You have 16 remaining games. What do you know? There's 16 opposing teams in the opposing conference. 1 divisional home, 1 divisional away. You're at 82 games. But no, it makes too much fucking sense. You save money with travel. You emphasize rivalries. You emphasize division plays. And you don't have to fucking spend as much money of these guys going to fucking East Bum fucking back all the time on friggin' travel. It just makes too much sense. And stop shoving in my face, oh, but we need to get every single player in our building once a year. Fine, make it happen every other year. I don't care. Hockey's about building rivalries, hatred, and the adrenaline you get of watching these guys battle within the division constantly. Want to emphasize division play, just fucking revive the schedule the way it should be. Point blank. And
I don't like 1 game only against the team for the year.
Why?
We used to have that. I didn't like it, to be honest.
But why? Why not emphasize the individual play?
Here's the reason. Here could be a reason why. Okay, just say Montreal, and you guys have Michkov, right? So we got Demidov, we got a few guys, right? And you guys will have that. So if you're in a division where you're gonna see Philadelphia or Montreal once a year.
No,
You
you're
don't
not.
get to see those
No.
Conference.
The West.
That's in
The
same
West.
conference.
Yeah. You would see the West once a year.
Exactly what he said.
I know. So I'm giving an example of I'm not saying the two. Okay, we'll say Montreal, Hudson, Demidov, right? You're out west. You only see you know what I mean. You only get to see this team away. You don't get to see them in your own range.
But you'll see them home next year.
This is the reason
next
why
year they'll be at
stop
your bar.
doing it. They want to give all the fans a chance to see every team.
No, I get that. I get that 100%.
I don't mind that so much, to be honest. I don't mind it so much.
What bothers me, honestly, is that Gary Bettman keeps on pushing this stupid divisional playoff format. And he's like, oh, but it builds rivalries, but you're taking away divisional games. Like, there's not going to be a rivalry in the playoffs because they don't see each other as often during the season. You need to play if you want divisional rivals in the playoffs, they need to play each other in the regular season. If I play, let's say, as the Flyers Penguins, if I play the Penguins as much as I play somebody in the Atlantic, how am I supposed to get a bigger rivalry against Pittsburgh than I would against someone in the Atlantic? And I'm playing a team from the West twice. So instead of 3 times, okay, it's only twice, but I'm still playing them twice. So it's like, how can you say that you're trying to build rivalries, but you're taking away the one thing that actually does build rivalries?
All right, okay. Good point. I get it.
Honestly, that's one thing that I'm like, I can't stand about Gary Bettman. When he says that, it drives me nuts.
So that's why if you're going to want to emphasize having everyone play each other one time, one at home, once on the road on the opposing conference, go back at the bare minimum, go back to the fucking 1-8 format. At the bare minimum.
Yeah.
That it should already be that way anyway. But no one needs to. I don't give a shit about I'll make the sacrifice of seeing Connor McDavid once, or Macklin Celebrini once, or Nathan McKinnon once, and sometimes only not even see him in my home barn. I don't care. I'll make that sacrifice if it means I get to build the rivalries and intensities. Hockey, listen. Back in the 2012 season, the Pittsburgh-Philadelphia rivalry was so much bad blood. They played each other 6 times that year. And the hatred those two teams built for each other leading into the playoffs through their regular season matchups was one of the funnest fucking things I ever saw as a fan. I'm swearing like a drunken sailor right now, but I'm just showing my passion to what I want to see for that. Like, the building hatred and animosity in sports is what brings up ratings and what makes the games more entertaining. I'm not asking these guys to kill each other literally, but I want to see. I don't want to like my opponent. I want to build a rivalry with my opponent. I want to be able to say, fuck that guy across the rink. I'm going to make his life a living hell. And then when the series is over, we'll shake hands and have a beer together. But until then, I want to have the bad blood that is led from the regular season into the playoffs, and you potentially play that team, since we're emphasizing division damn play so much, over 6 games, be able to fucking spore into the playoffs and build that type of hatred. Henry.
Does that mean 6 games against Buffalo and 6 games against...
Well, you get 6 games against Toronto now. You get 6 games against Boston.
Ottawa.
You get 6 games against the defending champs.
Yeah, but it's still 6 games against Buffalo.
But you're looking at the glass half empty. Would you take the sacrifice of 6 games against Buffalo to play Toronto 6 times, or Boston 6 times, or Ottawa 6 times? I'd take 6 games.
No, I have to say, I don't know. I didn't really like it when it was just one time. You'd see a team just once. I didn't really like that. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and then I'm kind of thinking, it makes me think about the lockdown, the COVID, where we had the Canadian division.
But we
played the same team so many times. It was boring.
That was a little different.
That was
Then we
boring.
played them 8 times, and it was the only teams you played
Yeah.
against. That was a little.
Only
That was
teams.
excessive.
Yeah, it was a
Wait.
little much. 8 was too much. So
Like if you
That's
would
only-
sprinkle in a team here, a team there, and like it's not so bad. But like, yeah, when you're playing the same 6, 7 teams 8 times each, yeah, that.
it was a little much. Yeah, I didn't.
But,
I
yeah.
thought I was gonna like it. I thought it was gonna be a lot of fun, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, same. But
All right. Well, we're at the. We're kind of. I kind of got a. I don't have a lot of time, so why don't we end with that subject? And next week is we're doing a fantasy pool draft, so we're going to do that as our episode. So that should be very interesting. And that's our last, it's going to be our last episode before the season starts. So somehow we're going to get some season talk. I'm not sure how we're going to do this.
We'll probably just sprinkle it in while we're doing the draft. It'll
Yeah.
just be kind of like an open, like pretty much a no agenda episode. We're going to just talk freely. We're not going to have anything set up for it.
While we're doing our fantasy draft. So
Exactly.
it hasn't fully been worked out, but yeah, so hopefully you guys will join us for that, or it's not gonna be live, so you'll check that out and see who we drafted and who was an idiot in the draft or looked like it, because sometimes it looks like you made bad picks and then by the end of the season you win. That could happen. So let us know in the comment section what you thought about what we said here. That's always very important. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please give us a subscribe, because I believe we're 11 subscribers away from 300, and we're trying to get to 300 before the season starts. So
please help.
So please do that. And any comments, anything you want to talk about, if you want to let us know about something you want to hear us talk about, do that in the comment section. And that's going to be it till next week. So hopefully you will have a good week. The final one without hockey, regular season hockey for a little while. And I don't know what else to say, but that's it. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. And have a great week and enjoy your week. And we're going to try to bone up on the players so we can make a good draft, and join us for that. And that's it. Ciao, everybody. We'll see you next time. And I just hit the wrong button, but ciao, everybody. And we'll see you next time. And nothing else. Bye.
Have a good one, everyone.
bye.